Hey guys, we're gonna wrap up our sheet metal tool caddy today. So this little video, I'm just gonna show you how I'm gonna lay out the handle right here, and then we need two of these side pieces. All right, and we'll try and get it all fit on one sheet of paper. Let me get the camera, get this stuff out of the way. All right, I'm gonna start with the handle. Um, when you guys can, on both paper and on sheet metal, um, try to use the given edge of the paper. It's less cutting. It's going to be accurate. So we're going to try and use the edges of our paper and then cut around for there. If you look at my handle here, it's 11 inches across. All right, so 11 inches across my entire sheet of paper. Let me track down a pencil real quick and we'll start laying this out. All right, got my pencil. So let's see. My first dimension I'm going to lay out are my larger ones. So I know the overall width of my handle before it's bent is 3 inches. All right, is 3 inches. So from the top of my paper, I'm going to come down 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and I'm going to mark it right there, and then do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a line across like that. Okay, keep going back to my print. I have a hemline here, all right? I'm going to fold that over completely over the top of itself. It says here that hemline is 3/8 of an inch from the top and from the bottom. I'm going to get to my ruler here, and I have on this particular ruler, this bottom part is my 1/8 inch scale ruler. Every tick mark is 1/8 of an inch. On the top, where I have more tick marks, every tick mark's 1/16 of an inch. All right, so depending on what side I'm using, I'm going to count 3 tick marks if I'm using my 1/8 inch scale, and I'm going to count 6 tick marks if I use my 16 inch scale. So I'm going to use my 1/8 inch scale, a little easier for me. And 1, 2, 3, right there. 1, 2, 3, right there. And I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom one as well. And let's draw both those lines in. So this is my hemline. It may be, you may want to label that, but we'll get this all done today. So, all right, there's my hemline. And now let's see, what's my next one? Looks like my bend line. Let me get this so you guys can see. Looks like my bend line, I'm going to use this 1/2 inch right here. That is going from this dash line to this dash line. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch now from my hemline. All right. 1/8 inch scale, so I'm going to go 4 tick marks. It should be the largest tick between 2 inch graduations or ticks. 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Remember, it's from the hemline, not from the object line or the edge of the paper. It's from the hemline. We're going 1/2 inch. All right. Cool. All right. I'm going to go ahead and label these. Hem, hem, bend, bend. All right. Let's get that oriented. The final thing, it's kind of notched at the end here. This could fold up and then actually gets tack welded, or in our case, just taped to the sides. And so I'm going to go in 3/4 of an inch all the way around along this bend line. All right, so I'm going to come to my bend line, and I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to go to right there, And do the same thing down here. And I'm going to come back to this side and do the same thing here. And then I'm going to connect those. Am I off a little bit? Let's go 3/4 of an inch. All right, that looks good. Come over here, same thing. So I'm actually going to draw this line all the way across because I'm going to cut out that section and that section. Let me do the same thing over here. I think that's a better approach. And I'm going to cut out that section and that section. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause this real quick. I'm going to cut out these things and we'll kind of meet back when I'm all done. All right, guys, so I cut out the corners and now I'm ready to start to fold this up. All right, I'm going to flip it over and fold each hemline all the way over. And I flip it over just because it's easier to follow that line when I fold it. Get a nice crease right there. All right, and same thing on this side. 3/8 hem. Cool. All right. And then I have my bend lines. So that's going to be a 90-degree bend. With paper, I'm just going to fold it and then kind of back fold it. All right. That should be right along this tab edge right here as well. Good. All right. So I'm going to leave my handle like that. These little tabs, we're going to bend them up at some point, but let's get our sides in because the nice thing about these tabs, if our length on our base is off a little bit, we could adjust it with these tabs, all right, as long as it's not too small, all right, but if it's a little long, which it is a solid piece of paper, so it really shouldn't be, but just in case, all right, we'll go ahead and take care of these later. All right, let me get ready for my sides and we'll lay those out. Okay, my sides simply just cut out. There's no bending or folding or anything like that. I don't know what this angle is or the length of this line. All right, so similar to how we did our relief cuts, I'm going to use straight lines to lay out a triangle so I can get to that point. If I could find this point and I could find this point, I could connect a line across those two. So I actually don't need that length or that angle. Looking at this right here, you can do this a couple different ways. So we have this much paper left if we are going to do this all on one sheet of paper. This right here was my edge, the natural edge of the paper. So I'm going to try and use this as much as possible. It is 3.5 inches tall. We should have more than 3.5 inches in this orientation. So is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go along my edge 4.5 inches. That's going to be the base. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right. Now from that mark, I'm going to go up 1.5 inches. I'm going to try my best to go as straight up as possible. 1.5. And I'm going to go ahead and mark that line. Now, from that point, I'm going to go over 1 5/8 of an inch, and from the bottom up 3.5. Let me see if I can get that in the screen a little bit more. So now I have this line right here. I'm going to go up 1.5 inches. All right, make a mark. Then from the bottom, I'm going to go up 3.5. I'm going to make a mark. This is like a phantom mark. And then from this point, I'm going to go this direction 1 5/8 of an inch and make a solid mark and then draw that line in. So I got my 1.5 inches. All right. Now I'm going to go up 3.5 right on that line. 1, 2, 3.5. All right, this is just a phantom mark. From that mark, again, it gets a little dicey because you want to go as straight as you possibly can. I'm going to go inwards on 1 5/8. All right, I'm using an 1/8 scale, so 1 5 tick marks. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can draw this in right here. That's that angle right there. All right. I'm going to continue on for my print. I'm going to go over another 1.25 inches for the flat. It does get a little difficult to keep everything straight, so just do your best. 1.25 inches. Go ahead and draw that line in. And then it's probably easier for me just to go up 1.5 inches from this corner. 1.5 inches is right there. And then I could just connect those. All right, so I'm going to cut out this profile, and then you have two options. You could either lay out the lines all over again, or you can take this piece, if you're confident it's accurate, place it on the paper over here, and just carefully trace it out. All right, whatever you guys feel is easiest. Okay, so now I have my base. We did this on Thursday. I folded up my edges and taped these corners like so. If I had it done correctly, I have a nice little seam right there where because of those relief cuts. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my base in like that. I have my two sides. They should fit in. They should fit in right here. If they don't fit, you may have to trim a little bit. I mean, this was done on paper, and our folds and bends may not be perfect. It's actually probably easier to do this in sheet metal than it is on paper because it's a little more rigid. So if you need to kind of trim off an edge a little bit, mine's fitting pretty good, but when I did this last week, I just simply trimmed just a sliver off the edge right here to get it to fit nice and cleanly. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these in here, and where you tape them, I mean, it's kind of up to you. I'm going to try and put a little piece of tape right there to kind of hold it in place. Think of tape as just like a little tack weld. A little tack weld is a small piece, is a super small weld just to hold everything together. Typically, you'll tack weld and then you'll do a full pass weld or whatever the print calls for to finish laying out that part. But it kind of just gets everything to hold together. So while you're welding, nothing's shifting around or anything like that. All right, not too bad. All right, I may add some more tape to make it stronger, but now I'm gonna get my handle. And in my case, I'm gonna go ahead and fold that tab straight up because this one's pretty dimensionally accurate. All right, and then I'm simply going to, as soon as I get this oriented correctly, I'm simply going to just tape it right at the top there. So the top of my tab lines up with the top of my side. Give me a sec to do that. All right, here's my completed tool caddy. I'm gonna add some more tape along the bottom edges right here because it's just not strong right now, but I can do that at a later time. If I kind of hold it together, you can kind of see the whole side of it right there. And that's the finished product. At this point, you guys are all set to go. All right. Best of luck to you. Take a picture of this and paste it into our assignment in Google Classroom. Or if we're doing it in class, you can just show me on the screen and I could go ahead and check you off for it. Best of luck. You guys have any questions, let me know. Yeah, see you guys in class. Take care.